Glimmering world of fame and fortune. Not everything that shines is gold. Beneath the polished smiles, flashing lights, and million-dollar deals lies a system that has protected the powerful while silencing the broken. The story surrounding Diddy, Will Smith, and Bryshere Gray, known to many as Hakeem from Empire, paints a chilling picture of how easily the entertainment industry can twist mentorship into manipulation. According to comedian Cat Williams and singer Jaguar Wright, Bryshere's tragic downfall began when he was introduced to Diddy and Will Smith by his then-manager, Charlie Mack. It was supposed to be a golden opportunity, two major stars mentoring a young, talented actor on his way to Hollywood stardom. But as Jaguar Wright later claimed, that mentorship was a disguise for something far darker. Instead of being guided, Bryshere allegedly became a victim of exploitation, trapped in a world he didn't understand until it was too late. Both Cat and Jaguar have been outspoken about the predatory behavior within the industry. Cat revealed that he, too, was targeted by powerful figures like Harvey Weinstein, but managed to resist their advances. Bryshere, however, wasn't as fortunate. Rumors and court documents suggest that around the time Diddy was mentoring him, the mogul was already under federal investigation for inappropriate contact with underage boys. Yet, the story was silenced before it reached the public. Jaguar Wright's public plea for prosecutors to take Bryshere's story seriously was ignored. She believed that if his truth had been heard, it could have changed the entire course of Diddy's case. But Hollywood has a long history of protecting its icons, even when the evidence screams otherwise. As the years passed, Bryshere's once promising career crumbled under the weight of trauma, legal troubles, and mental health struggles, leaving behind the haunting question: how many more stories like his remain untold? As the layers of this disturbing story unfold, it becomes clear that what happened to Bryshere Gray wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a much larger pattern of power, secrecy, and control in the entertainment industry. Behind the closed doors of mansions and mentorship sessions, young talents were promised fame, but allegedly faced manipulation, coercion, and abuse. Jaguar Wright continued to shed light on what she described as the dark circle surrounding Diddy, Will Smith, and others in the industry. She claimed that Bryshere wasn't the only young man caught in this web. According to her, Meek Mill and several others had fled Will and Diddy's home, screaming after being subjected to disturbing situations masked as mentorship. The most unsettling part of her testimony came when she suggested that Will Smith's own son, Jaden, had also been a victim, possibly explaining why he moved out of the family home at just 15. Jaguar's claims went even deeper. She accused Bryshere's own mother, Andrea, of enabling the trauma in exchange for personal gain. Allegedly, Andrea allowed these events to happen because she wanted to exploit her son's pain for a tell-all book that ultimately failed. Wright's emotional rants accused Andrea of being complicit, of turning her son into a sacrifice for fame and fortune. Whether every claim is true or not, one thing is undeniable. Bryshere's story echoes a pattern of broken promises, betrayal, and corruption that many in Hollywood whisper about but rarely confront publicly. Even more shocking were Jaguar's allegations of a secret freak-off tape involving Diddy, Will Smith, Jaden Smith, Justin Bieber, and Bryshere himself, a claim that has never been proven but has fueled public outrage. For Wright, the existence of such tapes represented a deliberate effort to discredit victims, to paint them as unstable or immoral, so that their voices would be dismissed when they tried to seek justice. In this murky world of secrets and silence, the line between truth and rumor is deliberately blurred, and that's exactly how those in power keep control. After the storm of allegations, Bryshere Gray's life began to spiral out of control. Once hailed as one of Hollywood's most promising young stars for his breakout role on Empire, his bright future dimmed under the weight of trauma, manipulation, and poor choices. What was once a career filled with music videos, awards, and red carpets turned into a string of arrests, mugshots, and headlines about violence. Following the end of Empire, Bryshere's personal life unraveled rapidly. Instead of new roles and hit records, he faced multiple run-ins with the law. His most publicized arrest came in 2020 when his wife fled to a gas station, begging for help after he allegedly assaulted and strangled her. Police surrounded his home, and it took hours of negotiation before he finally surrendered to SWAT officers. 2 years later, in 2022, he was again found guilty of aggravated assault involving another woman. These incidents painted a heartbreaking picture, not just of a fallen celebrity, but of a man possibly haunted by the ghosts of his past. To many, this wasn't simply a case of fame gone wrong. Cat Williams and Jaguar Wright both insisted that Bryshere's breakdown was the result of the trauma he endured early in his career. They claimed that after being passed around by powerful figures under the guise of mentorship, Bryshere was left psychologically shattered and isolated. His alleged attempts to file a $50 million lawsuit against Diddy and Will Smith, a bold move for any victim, reportedly ended after he was threatened into silence. The justice system, too, seemed to mirror the same imbalance of power that had plagued his life. Despite multiple victims coming forward against Diddy, the music mogul's connections and wealth appeared to shield him from severe consequences. To the public, it seemed that Diddy walked away nearly untouched, while those like Bryshere were left to crumble. Victims turned villains in the court of public opinion. Bryshere's downfall wasn't just about his crimes. It was about the unseen forces that shaped him into what he became. The more he tried to speak out, the more he was painted as unstable, another Hollywood star who lost it. But maybe he didn't lose it at all. Maybe it was taken from him. Bryshere Gray's story, whether viewed as tragedy or cautionary tale, exposes the deep rot that festers behind Hollywood's polished image. The same system that celebrates stars on award stages often hides the exploitation that built their fame. When voices like Cat Williams and Jaguar Wright dare to speak out, they're branded as unstable or bitter. But what if they're the only ones telling the truth? At Diddy's sentencing, that imbalance of power was once again on full display. After years of alleged abuse, corruption, and manipulation, he received only 50 months, a little over 4 years behind bars. For many, that sentence was a slap on the wrist. The mogul who once faced the possibility of a century-long sentence walked away with a fine and a few years in prison. For Cat Williams, this was more than injustice. It was confirmation that the system was built to protect the wealthy and silence the wounded. "Rich folks always get away," he said, echoing the frustration of countless victims who never see accountability. Online, the public's reaction was fierce. Commenters demanded to know how someone accused of such horrific acts could walk free so easily. They pointed fingers not only at Diddy, but also at the powerful names around him, Will Smith, Jay-Z, and others, rumored to be the part of the same dark web. Still, no new charges came, and the silence from Hollywood was deafening. Bryshere's story stands as a symbol of what happens when innocence meets power. Once a star with boundless potential, he became a casualty of a culture that rewards silence and punishes truth. His career crumbled, his mental health deteriorated, and his name became synonymous with scandal rather than success. Yet, in the whispers and testimonies that continue to surface, there's still a spark of resistance, people refusing to let these stories die. If anything, this entire saga reveals one haunting reality. Justice in Hollywood isn't about right or wrong. It's about who has the power to bury the truth. And until that changes, the next Bryshere Gray may already be out there, unknowingly walking into the same trap.